This film's story begins at a time when a new god was about to be appointed as the ruler of Egypt. The name of this deity was Horus, the god of the sky. Horus had been chosen as the new god of Egypt, and so a grand coronation ceremony was being held in his honor. People from all around had gathered for this monumental event. As Horus was just about to be crowned, an unexpected figure made his appearance, the god of the desert, Set. Set was not only a powerful god, but he was also the uncle of Horus. He came forward to offer a gift to his nephew as part of the ceremony. The gift he presented was a horn, and he requested Horus to blow it. Horus, unaware of Set's true intentions, blew the horn. Everything still seemed normal and celebratory at first. But as soon as the horn sounded, the soldiers of Set began to arrive, storming into the scene. It became clear that Set's visit wasn't an innocent one. He had come with a hidden motive. Before anyone could comprehend what was happening, Set stabbed and killed Horus' father with a dagger. In doing so, Set murdered his own brother. Chaos ensued. Set then turned to the crowd and declared in a thunderous voice that anyone who did not kneel before him would be put to death. Terrified by his power and aggression, everyone, including the gods, bowed down before Set. Seeing this, Horus was consumed with fury and confronted his uncle, initiating a fierce battle between them. During their fight, both Horus and Set transformed into their true godly forms. But Horus was outmatched. Set had the upper hand in the duel and was able to defeat Horus. As a brutal act of dominance, Set plucked out both of Horus' eyes, rendering him blind. However, he chose not to kill Horus, instead allowing him to live on in darkness, stripped of his power and vision. After this, Set assumed total control over Egypt. The land changed drastically under his rule. The condition of the people worsened. Humans were treated like animals. Set was a merciless, stone-hearted god who had no compassion. Egypt turned into a nightmarish place where survival for ordinary people became nearly impossible. Amid this turmoil, a young boy named Beck entered the story. Beck had a childhood friend, a girl he deeply cared for, and they both shared feelings for one another. It was also revealed that slavery was rampant in Egypt during this time, even among those who served the gods. Beck's female friend was a slave to an architect who worked for Set. Due to her position, the two friends were rarely able to meet. However, the girl believed that only Horus could save them from the life of slavery. She trusted that if they could return Horus' stolen eyes to him, he would regain his power and help them. The girl knew about a secret location, the treasure vault of Set, where all of his most prized possessions were kept, including the eyes of Horus. She shared this knowledge with Beck and proposed a plan. She explained that the place would be heavily guarded, and he would have to enter stealthily, avoid the traps, and steal the eyes. Beck agreed. He embarked on this dangerous mission and made his way into Set's treasure vault. The place was filled with deadly traps, set to kill anyone who dared to steal from the god. But Beck, with his agility and intelligence, avoided every trap and successfully retrieved one of Horus' glowing eyes. Beck returned to his friend with the eye, but soon they were ambushed by Set's soldiers. The girl's master, the architect, had noticed the maps to the treasure vault had been tampered with, and so he had grown suspicious. He confronted Beck and demanded to know what he had stolen. Beck had come prepared. Along with Horus' eye, he had also stolen a small golden item. So when questioned, he cleverly lied and only showed the gold piece, keeping the eye hidden. But despite this, both Beck and the girl were sentenced to death. As the soldiers came to capture them, Beck suddenly revealed Horus' eye, which emitted an intensely bright light. The soldiers were temporarily blinded by it, and using the moment of confusion, Beck and his friend managed to escape. As they fled, they thought they had made it. But the architect shot an arrow, and the girl was critically wounded. Desperate to save her, Beck rushed to the temple where the god Horus lived. Once inside, Beck shouted out to Horus, declaring that he had brought him one of his eyes. Horus responded and asked for his eye, but Beck set a condition. He would only return the eye if Horus agreed to do him a favor. Horus, enraged that a mere mortal was making demands, attacked Beck. But Beck cleverly dodged his attacks and refused to return the eye unless Horus agreed. Eventually, Horus gave in and accepted the deal. He asked what Beck wanted. Beck explained that he wanted Horus to rescue his dying friend. He then brought the wounded girl before Horus. Horus tried his best to save her, but to no avail. He had lost his godly powers. He sorrowfully told Beck that the girl was too far gone and could not be saved. At that moment, the god of death appeared and claimed the girl's soul. The god of death asked her what she could offer in exchange for her life. The girl, a mere slave, replied that she had nothing. It was then revealed that, after death, humans could bargain with the god of death. If they offered enough gold or treasure, they could be revived and returned to life. But without an offering, the god would take their soul permanently. Since the girl had nothing to offer, the god of death took her soul. Beck was devastated by her death and, filled with sorrow and anger, decided to withhold the eye from Horus, blaming him for failing to save her. But Horus, in a burst of rage, captured Beck, and to save his own life, Beck finally handed over the eye. Now possessing one eye, Horus demanded the second one. Beck explained that he only had one eye. The other was still inside Set's pyramid. But Beck had previously entered that pyramid and knew the layout and traps within it. Hearing this, Horus revealed something important to Beck, that the soul of his friend had not yet passed completely into the afterlife. Her soul was still traveling through the final paths, and this journey would take a few days. If Horus could regain his second eye, he would once again possess his full godly power. And with that power, he could bring her back from death. With this understanding, they made a deal. Beck would help retrieve the second eye, and in return, Horus would rescue and return Beck's friend. Together, they placed the girl's dead body in a safe location, preserving it until her soul could be restored. Horus, having promised to bring her back, now had a renewed mission, to reclaim what was his and defeat Set once and for all. Horus also makes up his mind to take revenge on Set. He is determined to kill his uncle, Set, and end his tyranny. With this purpose, Horus and Beck set out on their mission. Meanwhile, Set becomes aware that one of Horus's eyes has been stolen from his treasure and that Horus has reclaimed it. Hearing this, Set gives an order that both Horus and Beck must be captured and killed. As Horus travels toward a tall mountain with Beck accompanying him, Beck curiously asks, "Where are we going?" Horus replies, "I'm going to meet my grandfather. I need his help." Saying this, Horus sits down and begins to focus his thoughts on his grandfather. As Horus concentrates, his form begins to change. He transforms into his godly appearance. Now able to fly, Horus ascends toward the heavens. Upon reaching the heavens, Horus meets his grandfather, who is revealed to be the god of the sun. This heavenly realm is where all creation, the life of the world, including humans and animals, originates. Suddenly, the god of the sun appears in his full divine form, armed with his weapon. A great threat looms in the form of a dark satanic force that seeks to destroy the world. The sun gods are constantly battling this demonic entity, repelling it with their powers. Their sole purpose is to protect the world from the evil forces of darkness. Horus approaches his grandfather and begins to explain everything, the reason for his visit. He recounts the tragic events, how Set killed his father, gouged out both of his eyes, and seized control over Egypt. He reveals that Set has thrown the land into an age of slavery and despair. Listening to him, the god of the sun says, "If I get involved in the quarrels of my sons, I will lose focus from my greater duty of safeguarding the world. I cannot afford such a distraction." Horus pleads for help. In response, the sun god simply says, "Nothing can be done. Everything must go according to the divine plan." But Horus then asks for a specific thing, the sacred water of that place. This water is no ordinary water. It possesses magical, divine power. It is the very water that is used to create living beings, humans, animals, and more. Acknowledging his request, the sun god grants Horus this divine water. With the divine water in hand, Horus returns to Earth. As he descends, he loses his godly form again. Without both eyes, he lacks full godly strength and appearance. His power remains limited. Soon after, while Horus and Beck are traveling through a forest, they are ambushed by the soldiers sent by Set. A fierce fight breaks out. Horus bravely battles all of them, but at one point, one of Set's soldiers hurls him off a cliff. Seeing this, Beck leaps off the cliff as well, unwilling to leave Horus behind. However, before they both hit the ground, Horus uses a magical weapon to prevent their fall. Thanks to that weapon, they both survive. At this moment, the reason for bringing the divine water becomes clear. Somewhere in the world, there exists a massive pyramid filled with flames, intense, magical fire. Horus believes that this fire is the source of Set's power. If he throws the divine water into that fire, Set's strength will be destroyed. This is part of Horus's greater strategy. Weaken Set by eliminating his power source, then confront and defeat him. Horus now warns Beck, saying, "Now Set will send his most dangerous and bloodthirsty warriors after us." True to his word, 2 terrifying women are soon sent by Set. These deadly beings ride monstrous, fire-breathing serpents and pose a deadly threat. Meanwhile, Set visits the goddess of love. His real intent is to ask something from her. In the past, this goddess of love had been trapped in the world of the dead. She had once been the eldest of all the dead. Set had freed her from that dark world and brought her back into the living realm. Interestingly, both Horus and the goddess of love had once shared feelings for each other. Like Horus, she too possesses significant powers. Set now tells her, "I want you to take me to the world of the dead. I want to rule there as well." The goddess of love instantly and firmly refuses. She already knows that Set has regained one of Horus's eyes and what he's planning. When she refuses to help him, Set becomes enraged and attempts to kill her. But just before he can strike, she removes a magical bangle from her wrist. This act transports her briefly back into the world of the dead. However, she soon puts the bangle back on and returns to the world of the living. This bangle possesses an incredible power. As long as it remains on her wrist, the dead cannot harm her. But if she removes it, she becomes vulnerable, and the spirits of the dead can drag her into their realm forever. Meanwhile, Horus and Beck arrive at an ancient temple. But at the same time, The two monstrous women sent by Set also arrive, still riding their enormous, fire-breathing serpents. The snake-like monsters begin attacking, spewing fire. Horus and Beck hide, evading their attacks. In the nick of time, the goddess of love appears and uses her divine powers to defeat the monstrous serpents. After this victory, Horus and Beck head toward the location where Horus's second eye is hidden. That place is none other than Set's pyramid. Beck says, "I've been here before. I know this place well. I can get inside." The goddess of love warns him, "It won't be easy. There is a guardian monster inside that pyramid. It will ask a riddle. If you answer it incorrectly, it will kill you." Upon hearing this, Horus devises a plan. He decides to go to the god of wisdom, the most intelligent of all gods. They approach the god of wisdom and tell him everything that has happened. However, the god of wisdom is hesitant and refuses to accompany them. But Beck, thinking quickly and showing his cleverness, speaks up, "I'll solve the monster's riddle myself." The god of wisdom responds, "No, that's impossible. You won't be able to solve it. The question will be too difficult." He warns, "If you answer incorrectly, it will end your life." Beck boldly replies, "Then let it kill me. But before I die, I'll at least reveal the truth, that I came to the god of wisdom, and he was too afraid to answer the riddle himself." It was a great humiliation for any god. So, the god of intelligence finally agreed to help. Together, they set off on their journey. However, the goddess of love soon learned about the secret deal made between Horus and Beck. She discovered that Horus had promised Beck he would bring back his deceased beloved, a task considered impossible and forbidden. But what troubled the goddess of love the most was the fact that Horus had made this promise just to convince Beck to help him retrieve his eye. Horus was using Beck, and this deceit did not sit right with her. She believed this kind of manipulation was unworthy of a god. Wanting to help Beck, the goddess of love approached him and asked, "Do you want to speak with your beloved?" She then offered her magical bangle, which had the power to establish a connection with the world of the dead. Using it, Beck was able to communicate with his beloved. He told her, "Don't worry, I'll bring you back. The god Horus is helping me." Encouraged by this moment of hope, they continued their journey and reached the pyramid where Horus's second eye was believed to be hidden. However, there was no visible entrance to the pyramid. Beck said confidently, "I know where the entrance is." He explained that there was a wheel hidden inside the structure, and if rotated, it would unlock the door. Risking his life, Beck slipped between two large stones and managed to reach the wheel. With great effort, he turned it. All movement inside the structure stopped, and a secret door opened, allowing the rest of the group to enter. As they advanced deeper into the pyramid, a monstrous guardian appeared before them. This creature was known for posing riddles and would destroy anyone who answered incorrectly. The monster spoke, "I neither was nor will ever be. No one has ever seen me, and no one ever will. Yet, every living being believes in me. Tell me quickly, who am I? What is my identity?" The god of intelligence attempted an answer, but it was wrong. The monster immediately attacked. After a moment of deep thought, the god of intelligence gave another answer, but it too was incorrect. The monster was about to destroy them when finally, the god of intelligence said, "The future." The answer was correct. The monster withdrew, allowing them to proceed. As they moved forward, they discovered the eye of Horus. Horus prepared to pour the divine water he had brought to weaken Set's power. But at that moment, a trap was triggered, and they were caught. Set appeared before them, revealing it had all been his plan from the beginning. He seized the moment to strike, removing the brain of the god of intelligence and saying, "I needed this more than you can imagine." In the chaos, Beck managed to grab the divine water back and threatened Set, "If you move closer, I'll pour this into the fire." But Set cunningly revealed a necklace belonging to Beck's beloved and said, "This belonged to your friend. And you think Horus can bring her back? He used you. No one can bring the dead back. If you pour that water into the fire, I'll destroy her body completely." Struck by the emotional manipulation, Beck stepped back. He didn't want to risk his beloved's soul. So, he handed over the divine water to Set. Set, having won, poured the water away and escaped the pyramid, leaving the rest of them trapped as the structure began collapsing. Yet, Horus managed to save everyone before the pyramid was completely destroyed. Meanwhile, Set replaced his own brain with that of the god of intelligence, gaining enormous wisdom and power. With his strength amplified, Set made his way to his father, the god of the sun. But his intention was not peaceful. Set attacked his father and stole his weapon, the only weapon powerful enough to keep the god of darkness at bay. Without it, the demon of darkness would be unstoppable and could wreak havoc upon the world. Back on Earth, Horus and the goddess of love managed to escape the pyramid. Beck, now feeling betrayed, was devastated. He realized that Horus had been using him all along. The goddess of love stood beside Beck. She, too, wanted him to reunite with his beloved. So, she summoned the god of death and asked him, "What is the price to enter the world of the dead?" The god of death answered solemnly, "The price is the highest of all." Without hesitation, the goddess of love showed him her magical bangle and asked, "Is there any price greater than this?" She took off the bangle and gave it to Beck. The bangle allowed its wearer to travel safely to the world of the dead without being harmed. She herself entered the world of the dead, unprotected, knowing the dangers. Beck followed her, hoping to find and save his beloved. In the world of the dead, Beck found that the soul of his beloved had reached the final gate. It was the last barrier, and to pass through it, one needed to pay with gold. Without it, a soul would be lost forever. "I have nothing," she said sorrowfully. At that moment, Beck arrived holding the magical bangle, offering her salvation. Meanwhile, the demon of darkness had begun his approach to Earth. With the god of the sun incapacitated and his weapon stolen, the world was vulnerable. The god of death told Beck, "Hurry, go back to Horus. He's the only one who can stop this." Beck returned to Earth and told Horus everything. Set, now in possession of the powerful weapon, had allowed the demon of darkness to enter the world. His plan was to lead the demon to the pool of divine water, the very source of all creation. If the demon drank from it, the world would be annihilated. Horus rushed to stop him. A brutal battle broke out between Horus and Set. But Set was too powerful, and once again, Horus was overwhelmed. As Set was about to deliver the killing blow, Beck arrived. He stole Horus's eye from Set's armor and threw it to Horus. Furious, Set hurled Horus off the platform, and the eye slipped from Horus's grasp. At this moment, Horus faced a crucial choice: retrieve his eye and regain full godly power, or save Beck, who was in mortal danger. Horus chose to save Beck. As he caught him, something miraculous happened. Horus's godly form returned even though he didn't have his eye. It was then revealed that Horus's true power was not in his eye, but in his transformation into a true and noble god, one who would choose compassion over power. Because of this selfless act, he regained his full strength and his other eye was also restored. With renewed power, Horus confronted Set in another intense battle. This time, Horus defeated Set. As he stood over him, ready to deliver justice, Set pleaded, "Don't kill me. Let me go. I spared you once too." Horus replied coldly, "I'm not a fool like you. I won't make the same mistake." And with that, Horus ended Set's life. As the demon of darkness approached the divine water, Horus flew to the heavens to meet his grandfather, the god of the sun. He returned the stolen weapon. With it, the god of the sun was able to repel the demon of darkness and send him back to his realm. Sadly, Beck had died during the confrontation. But as a now fully empowered and righteous god, Horus used his divine power to bring Beck and his beloved back to life. Horus was crowned the new god of Egypt. He declared a new law, that those who lived righteous lives would be granted life after death, not based on wealth, silver, or gold, but based on their deeds. Finally, Horus traveled to the world of the dead to bring back the goddess of love. With her return, balance was restored, peace prevailed, and the movie ended on a hopeful and uplifting note.